You have to give your wife her rights. You have to give your children their rights. You have to give your siblings their rights. You have to give yourself your rights. You have to balance all of these things. If you don't balance them, then you will end up doing dhulm, injustice, wrong to at least one of them. Either yourself, you'll be wronging yourself. You end up wronging your children. There are some people that are so obsessed with giving to their parents and giving to their parents and giving to their parents that they even take from the rights of their children. And sometimes there are parents who ask and ask and ask and ask, and they take more than their right. When they use the ayah of Quran and say, well, no matter how much you do for me is never enough, so give me everything. Give me everything. And they'll use the ayah on you. Ihsan to them comes from Allah. It's not defined by them. Please understand this delicate point. What you should do for your parents is not defined by them. It's defined by you and Allah. If they're asking you to sacrifice the well-being of the people in your care, if they're asking you, for example, some parents ask the husband to punish the wife, to not talk to her anymore. Some parents ask the husband to not allow some basic rights in the family. You can't do that. You can't allow that. When you married a woman, you took her in your care and you promised to be her wali. You promised to protect her. You took the place that her father used to have. Her father would protect her no matter what. And you signed a nikah. أَخَذْنَا مِنْكُمْ مِيثَاقًا غَلِيظًا. You took a heavy contract from them. And now they're under your care. So I don't care what your mom told you or what your dad told you. You can't do wrong by your wife. But the flip is also true. You can't listen to your spouse and do wrong by your parents. Let me tell you what that means, gentlemen, myself included. You're going to live a life in which somebody's going to be unhappy with you. Always. Congratulations to manhood. Welcome to the club. Somebody will be upset with you. Your father will tell you you're not a good enough son. Your mother will say you love your wife more than you love me. Your wife will say you don't really love me, you just love your parents, I'm nothing to you. Your children will say you're always with grandparents, with grandpa and grandma, you don't care about us. Your parents will say you care more about your kids and your family, you've forgotten about us, we're just trash to you. Everybody's going to think that you don't do anything. You're useless. And let me tell you, the only time they might appreciate you is at your janazah. He was so good to us. He was really good. You find parents, when their children are alive, and when they die, he was such a good son. He was perfect. He used to take so much care of me. As men, let me tell you something. Don't expect to live a life of appreciation. Just don't. Grow a thick skin. But then again, you're not angels. You're human beings. And when you are being pulled in every direction, and everybody is dissatisfied with you, and everybody is unhappy with you, then eventually something inside you will break. Eventually, you can't balance all of this. You just can't. You're going to have to learn to find the balance between two things. One, you get so angry and say, I can never make anyone happy anyway, so I stop trying. Forget everyone. The other extreme, you keep trying to make everyone happy, and the only one miserable left is who? Yourself. You're miserable. And when you're miserable, you can't be good to anybody else. You're no longer going to be able to be a good father, a good husband, a good son. You can't do those things if you've lost yourself. You cannot. There are some times in our relationships that we are the abuser. The men are the abuser. We're the ones that are not giving the rights. And sometimes we are in relationships where the people that need from us, the people that depend on us, become abusive. They become abusive towards us. You have to draw that line of what your rights are. You have to be able to demand your rights. And at the same time, you have to make sure you're not an oppressor.